Thomas Tuchel tonight, he's exempt from quarantine, so he's taken training. He takes Chelsea tonight. He's not a stupid man. He will know he's got to achieve at Chelsea, and he has to do it quick in this job, doesn't he?
Well, you were moaning last week about managers not getting enough preparation time before a game when he'd been preparing for that game 2 weeks earlier. Well, he's come in. How long's he got to prepare for a game?
He's not asked for a postponement, has he?
Well, there you go.
He knows he's got to get
True
on with it.
professional.
He may even be asked to certainly finish top 4 this season, I would say. Maybe even win one of the trophy competitions he's still in.
Do you reckon?
Yeah,
top 4?
no, I think...
Do you reckon
Hey.
that's going to be in it straight away? When you talk about players settling, right? So not only you've got players still trying to settle in at Chelsea, you've got a manager that's going to come into a league he's not managed in before, and he's going to make the players settle straight away. And you still think he's got it in his head, but he's going to finish in top 4.
I think Roman's got it in his head that he expects this manager to finish top 4. I think there's an expectation. They don't hang around. I mean, you could say first season, Frank Lampard ticked the boxes, and here we are halfway through the second season, he's gone. And actually, I heard some non-Chelsea fans out in the talkSPORT office earlier saying that Chelsea fans are silly for moaning. They've had an upgrade on their manager.
Arsenal fans are that.
An Arsenal fan and a Man United fan talking it was. And I was thinking to myself, these non-Chelsea fans, in fact, the Chelsea haters, they're in for a bit of a shock, aren't they? If Tuchel works out, they're all campaigning for Lampard to go. Lampard's gone. And now they're discovering, hang on a minute, we've been campaigning for Lampard to get the sack because we didn't like him or we didn't like Chelsea. And now Chelsea have got themselves a decent manager. What are we going to do when Chelsea start winning games and they're successful? They're all going to be crying about it, aren't they? It was their fault.
Well, I'll be one of them. I mean, I'm interested to see if it works out. I'm not 100% convinced. I think it's very difficult. He's obviously can manage. I'm not saying he's a poor manager whatsoever. You only have to look at what he did with Dortmund. He's gone to Paris, a big club. He deserved that opportunity where he won a couple of league titles. But this is a different league. It's so competitive all the way down. You've seen teams at the bottom can compete with the very best. We saw it Burnley beating Liverpool last week. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a different challenge for him. And as I've said in life, some people, you do not know till they get that opportunity. He might go into it and become a better manager straight away, learning things as they go and improving everything about his all-round game as a manager. So we won't know until he starts. After 10 games, we'll get some idea.
Indeed. There is a rumour, it is just a rumour, nothing confirmed as yet, that Mason Mount will be left out tonight.
Give over.
No, that's what I've heard, yeah.
He can't be. Surely he's been one of their best players all season.
Well, his omission, I think, could well be the big statement Tuchel makes. Mike is a Chelsea fan. What do you want to say, Mike? You're on talkSPORT.
Hello, lads. I agree with you. He's just doing this just to make a name for himself. I'm literally fuming. I'm looking at that team sheet and I'm thinking, you've got players there that haven't got a clue what they're doing. I mean, it's just bonkers. Absolutely bonkers.
Does it not depend, though, Mike, on how they shape up? If he does go with 3 at the back and he's got Hudson-Odoi as a wing-back, then let's just say I'll be fascinated to see how that pans out. I'm a big fan of Hudson-Odoi, but I'm not necessarily sure he would cut it as a wing-back. But does it not matter more how they shape up rather than the team selection? And we don't know that until 6 p.m, do we?
No, I think to me that's a flat back 4 because there's no way you're going to play Dave Asby outside of Jorginho. Why would you? It makes no sense. He's not got the pace anymore to handle it. If you're going to do that, you play Reece James. Then it makes a bit more sense. But, I mean, look at Jorginho. He's played about 5 forward passes in the entire Chelsea career, which has resulted in 2 really good goals from Tammy Abraham. He might want to try passing forward if this formation's going to work. Because at the moment, it seems to me, all he's really trying to do is pack out that midfield so we don't concede. I mean, where's the flair and genius in that? His form since he's come back from his injury. He's been pretty bang average. You know, I would suggest that Pulisic would have been a starter today. Me and my 13-year-old son were talking, we were like, Pulisic is a shoo-in. You know, he's worked with Tuchel, you know, before at Dortmund, so why would you put him in there? He understands what he wants from a player. It was Tuchel that gave him his break at Dortmund. It makes no sense.
Vernon, a Chelsea fan. What do you make of the team lineup, Vernon?
Disappointed. Very disappointed, Adrian. I'm very, very sorry for Mason Mount, but I'm really, really sorry for Billy Gilmour not even being in the squad.
Well, how's this, Vernon? I mean, Billy Gilmour played really well at the weekend. He is not even on the bench, and yet 2 rubbish left-backs, Alonso and Emerson, are both on the bench.
Oh, tell me about it, Adrian. I'm absolutely frothing, mate. I am steaming. If I could get hold of Tuchel now, I don't know what I'd do to him. Because, I mean, I rang up and...
He hasn't even started yet.
He hasn't started yet, and I already want him out, right? Because...
That's so Chelsea.
It's unreal. Is this a Newcastle fan? You'd have been better off with Steve Bruce.
You know what? We'd be better off with Mr. Tickle, not Mr. Tuchel, the way he picked this team. I'm not being funny.
What about if you rock up tonight, though? What about if you rock up tonight and you win 3 or 4-0? You'll obviously say, "Oh, hang on a minute. Perhaps he got it right. Perhaps we did need change freshening up. Perhaps we did need a little bit more experience in."
Yeah, but Goffey, I'm not being horrible. The way Wolves are playing at the moment, you could virtually pick any 11 out of 25 players that Chelsea have got and give them a game at home, because Wolves have been very, very poor lately, and even Wolves fans will tell you that. But to play Jorginho and Kovacic in the middle, and I'm being serious here, Sarri tried it many, many times, and look what happened to him. Frank has tried it many, many times, by the way, and look what's happened to Frank. And now, the first game, the first chance to show a little bit of something about him, and he goes and picks the obvious two, the two slow plodders, I call them. I mean, honestly, and with Azpilicueta, he can't run anymore. He's got concrete boots on. And Giroud, I'm not being funny, he's a great striker, but he's gone and all. So we've got 4 old men out there who can't run.